Mangwana ni malelepo vukinjani Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Mbedi on the 2nd of July. Now, some of the top stories we're looking at, we will be zoning in on South Africa's freshly announced cabinet. In Kenya, the country is set to borrow more after new taxes withdrawn, and Australia doubles foreign student visa fee in migration crackdown. We'll also talk to Mike Sichula as he brings us the news stories from Zambia. DSTV 285, GoTV 25, 102.com, Network Media Hub on YouTube are precisely where you can find us. Top stories shortly.
My Zone presents My Zone Schools Esports Competition.
Still possibilities.
Round 1, 3, 2, 1.
We have 50 minutes to go. Caution.
Yeah, no surprise there. That was always going to be a booking.
From deep three-point range, Green with the
Join us on the 27th of July at the MTC Innovation Hub for an action-packed day of esports excitement.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa appointed former opposition leader John Steenhuisen as the Minister of Agriculture, bringing the Democratic Alliance and other parties into his new coalition cabinet. Ramaphosa's African National Congress was forced to join forces with rival parties to stay in power after losing its majority for the first time in 3 decades in a May 29 election. The announcement of the new government of national unity followed weeks of protracted and at times acrimonious negotiations. Ramaphosa retained the ANC's Enoch Godongwana as finance minister, while Ronald Lamola was appointed Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, replacing Naledi Pandor. Gwede Mantashe stayed on as Mineral and Petroleum Resources Minister, but the president removed energy from his portfolio. The combination of mineral resources had been seen by many as creating a prejudice in favor of coal as a source of power generation. Now, let's move over to our next story in Kenya, as the President William Ruto says that the country will have to borrow more to keep the government running following the rejection of the hugely unpopular finance bill that was going to raise more money in taxes. The president said he would withdraw the bill containing controversial tax hikes last Wednesday after deadly protests which saw Parliament set on fire. But on Sunday, he said dropping the bill had set the country back 2 years, as he explained the difficulty of being unable to raise extra taxes while facing a huge debt burden. He said this meant Kenya would have to borrow 1 trillion shillings just to be able to run the government. This is a 67% increase on what had been planned. But he also said he was considering cuts in spending across government, including in his own office, as well as reducing allocations to the judiciary and the county governments. Now, Australia said yesterday it had more than doubled the visa fee for international students, the latest move by the government to rein in record migration that has intensified pressure on an already tight housing market. From July 1, the international student visa fee has risen to Australian dollars 1,600 from 710, while visitor visa holders and students with temporary graduate visas are banned from applying onshore for a student visa. The changes coming into force will help restore integrity to our international education system and create a migration system which is fairer, smaller and better able to deliver for Australia, Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill said in a statement. Official data released in March showed net migration rose 60% to a record 548,800 people in the year September 30, 2023. The rise in fees makes applying for a student visa for Australia far more expensive than in competing countries like the US and Canada, where they cost about $185 and 150 Canadian dollars respectively. Now, fighters from Sudan's notorious paramilitary group looted homes and shops and took over the main hospital in a central city, forcing tens of thousands to flee, residents said, as a new front opened in a 14-month war that has pushed the African country to the brink of famine. The paramilitary Rapid Support Forces began its offensive against Sudan's military in Sennar province earlier in the week, attacking the village of Jebel Moya before moving to the provincial capital of Singa, where fresh battles have erupted. The fighting forced about 57,000 people to flee their homes, according to the United Nations. RSF fighters in pickup trucks mounting automatic rifles rampaged through Singa, about 350 kilometers southeast of the capital, Khartoum, over the weekend, according to residents and the local rights group. They looted houses, shops in a local market, and took over the city's main hospital, they said. Now, in recent years, after several natural disasters, the Mozambican regulator has been forced to create regulatory and tax facilities for operators to restore telecommunications. An executive of Mozambique's National Communications Institute told Lusa, "From our side as regulators, what we have done in the case of telecommunication infrastructures that have been badly affected is to create all kinds of facilities so that operators can quickly recover the infrastructures and restore communications," Constancio Trigo, Executive Director of the INCM, told Lusa. He was speaking on the sidelines of the 14th Communications Forum of the Community of Portuguese Language Countries being held at the Cupertino de Miranda Foundation in Porto. These actions have forced on making spectrum available to operators, for example, exempting them from paying radio fees for a certain period, precisely so that they can finance the recovery of lost infrastructure, he also told Lusa. Stay with us, because after the break we talk to Mike Sichula about the stories stemming from Zambia.
Are you tired of just hanging around at home while waiting for something to do? Check out eticket.diary.my.na for what's hot on the social scene across the country. Or if you're arranging an event you'd like us to feature, contact Jareen at we.com.na. We can sell your tickets too.
All right, it's time for us to talk to Mike Sichula in Zambia about the stories coming from there. Mike Mulibwanji.
Mulibwanji, Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Bueno. Now, former President Edgar Lungu has met with a lawmaker who wrestled political power from him with regards to the Patriotic Front.
Yes, the two leaders met this week and over the weekend. Then the background to this story is that they have not met in the last 3 years. And since then, the Patriotic Front, which is the ruling party, is divided into two factions. There they are in the picture there that has been shown on the screen. So the details of their meeting has not been availed to the media. But from this meeting, a number of people that supported Mr. Miles Sampa, who is on the right there, did say that what Mr. Sampa is doing is something that they did not believe, because he told them that they should not meet Mr. Lungu because it did not mean well for the PF. But now seeing him in the picture with Mr. Lungu, it has sent a lot of bad energies. And since then, Mr. Mao Sampa has made a lot of changes to his structures, where he has removed the Secretary General of the party. He has removed also the leader of opposition in Parliament and replaced them with the others. In terms of the Secretary General, he is the President and the Secretary General of the party. So these two leaders have been having a lot of differences between them. For instance, when Mr. Sata died, the founder of the PF in 2015, Mr. Mao Sampa stood to be one of the people who are vying for presidency, but Mr. Lungu emerged as a winner, and since then, they have not been in very good books, even if sometimes they would meet together and do political things together, but they have not been in a very, very stable relationship as individuals and as members of the opposition patriotic front. So this is something that a number of people are saying it is likely going to be an issue of where maybe they will unite for just a common purpose, or they may not unite, and definitely maybe the patriotic front may be headed into darker situations in future.
All right, let's see how that one develops. Now, Mike, the police have rescued an 84-year-old woman from a mob that suspected her of bewitching a baby.
Yes, something that is not of something that is very bad that has happened. So, according to police investigations, it revealed that the child was having difficulties in breathing, and the parents, together with other family members, suspected foul play and decided to take the child to a prophet for prayers. It is alleged that the child suddenly died whilst at the prophet's house. Parents and relatives alleged that the prophet told them that the child was bewitched by Mary Kacholo, an elder woman aged 84 of Chief Chuara's area in Kafue district. So since when this happened, that's when a mob gathered and descended on the woman, because they believed that she was responsible for the death of a 14-month-old baby, which police had actually rescued from the mob which descended on her. So they tried to to inflict damage on her, but luckily police managed to take her into safety. So John Piri, aged 31, went to seek prayers at the prophet's house for the child who was identified to be sick, namely Taonga Piri. So this is a sad story that came through from Kafue district, which is about 45 minutes drive from the capital city, Lusaka.
Truly sad story. Now, Zambia's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom has been appointed as a member of the Commonwealth Board of Governors.
Yes, the Board of Governors has confirmed the nomination and appointment of Miss Muchenje Mazoka for a year effective 1st July 2024. So the Executive Committee of the Commonwealth is a committee of the Board of Governors of the Commonwealth that sits quarterly to look at reports from the Office of the Secretary General. Also, the committee also looks into operations of individuals, funds, oversees budget and audit functions and other functions referred to it by the board. So this statement was confirmed to the Zambian media by First Secretary for Press at the Zambian High Commissioner in London, Speedwell Mapushi. So the appointment of Mazoka, who is the daughter of the founder president of the current ruling party, the United Party for National Development, is actually took up this position as Zambia's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, and her appointment has excited a number of Zambians who say Zambia is now having a seat in one of the big organizations such as the Commonwealth, and they are excited and hoping that she's going to use her presence in the Commonwealth to fight for certain things that Zambia needs to get fairly from the Commonwealth.
All right, and some more good news for Zambia. The 4x4 men's relay team has qualified for the 2024 Olympic Games.
Yes, this is very good news because as of 30th June 2024, the Zambian 4x4 relay team beat one of the best running countries, that is Jamaica, on time ranking. This is the best news ever in the world of Zambian athletics. So Jamaica clocked 2 minutes 59 seconds 87 seconds, while Zambia time was 2 minutes 29 seconds 12. This puts Zambia as the number 3 in the world in terms of time ranking. This is the first remains the United States, second Botswana, and Zambia is on third position. This is a ranking as of 30th June 2024. So because of this ranking, Zambia was able to qualify for the Olympics as the top ranked spin relay team in the world.
Very good news for Zambia, and we're excited to see Zambia represent the country, the region, and indeed Africa at the Olympic Games. Thank you very much, Mike, for bringing us the news stories.
This is indeed very good news when you look at the Zambezi derby between Zambia and Zimbabwe during the COSAFA. So that's why when you asked me, I replaced this story with this one because it's better than what it
No, I had to be fair. Yet I didn't talk about Zimbabwe beating Zambia in my own home, and I will not talk about it on television for my own safety. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you very much, Africa. Good morning to our dear viewers.
Africa, good morning indeed. Let's head on over to the weather predictions.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
In economic news, Myanmar's military authorities have arrested 11 people, including a Japanese executive, for selling rice at prices higher than prescribed levels. Officials said that the detainees include rice traders, millers, and retailers. The charges relate to the sale of rice at prices up to 70% higher than what is deemed acceptable by the authorities as they struggle with deep economic instability amid the ongoing conflict in the country. Among the detainees was a Japanese executive whose arrest has caused friction with Tokyo. A director at supermarket operator Ion Orange, Hiroshi Kasamatsu, was detained following an investigation into rice mills and supermarkets, the authorities' information team said. It said that Kasamatsu and 3 Myanmar nationals were suspected of price gouging with the aim of making economic chaos. The impoverished Southeast Asian country has been in turmoil since the military took control in 2021 after deposing the elected civilian government led by Aung San Suu Kyi. Now, with long-running petroleum subsidies now removed, many households, schools, hospitals, and indeed businesses struggle with the cost of fuel for their backup generators in Nigeria. The Lorat Nursery and Primary School in Ibadan has stopped using a diesel generator as an alternative due to costs, says head teacher Abdul Hakim Adedoja. Although the school is in an area that's connected to the grid, they can sometimes go 2 weeks without power power supply. We cannot even put our gadgets to use because there's no electricity around us, he says, as computers gather dust in a classroom. The problem is not just the lack of electricity for computer-aided learning, proper lighting, and fans to make classes less stuffy for pupils and teachers. It's also that students are unable to complete their school assignments at home. With less than 8,000 megawatts of capacity and an average supply of less than 4,000 megawatts, less than half of what Singapore supplies to just 5.6 million people, power outages are an everyday occurrence in Nigeria. For more energy-hungry small businesses like restaurants, they either close shop or continue with alternative power generation, incurring high costs in the process. Ebunola Aikinwale, owner of Nature Street Cafe in Abidan, says she pays 2.5 million naira, approximately $1,700 monthly, to power backup generators in her 4 branches. You are still with Africa. Good morning. Let's have a look at the economic indicators. And after that, Ario Hohad brings us the sport. And we should mention it is a very wonderful day with regards to COSAFA Cup. Yes, Zambia lost to Zimbabwe yesterday, the day before yesterday rather, but Namibia was victorious against Lesotho with a wonderful 2-1 win in the competition. Here are your economic indicators before Ari brings the sport.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with Wimbledon tennis first. It is one of the 4 majors of the year. It starts on Monday in London, and the number 1 seed in the men's division is Yannick Sinner of Italy, and he will play in the first round. He will play against Yannick Hoffmann of Germany. Number 2 seed in the men's division is Novak Djokovic, and then number 3 seed is Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz is the defending champion. He won the title in 2023. Southern African interest, it will be South Africa's Lloyd Harris that also play in the tournament. He qualified through the qualifying tournaments, and he will play American Alex Michelson, and Michelson is number 55 in the world. On the women's side of the draw, it is Iga Swiatek that is the number 1 seed, and she will play Sonia Kenin of the USA in the first round, a tough first round game for Iga Swiatek. Then Coco Gauff of America, 2nd seed, and then number 3 seed is Aryna Sabalenka. She earlier in the year won the Australian Open. Continuing international sports news with motorcycle news, it is MotoGP. It was the Dutch Grand Prix, and that was won by Francesco Bagnaia, and he won it in his Ducati. 2nd position, Jorge Martin, and in 3rd position, it was Enio Bastianini. The point standing at the moment is that Jorge Martin in his Ducati is leading the points table with 80 points, with Bastianini second on 59 points, and then is Maverick Vinales on 56. South African Brad Binder, he's number 6 on the points table at the moment with 49 points. He was 7th in the MotoGP Dutch Grand Prix the past weekend. Continuing international sports news with golf news, on the men's PGA Tour, it was a Rocket Mortgage Classic played in Detroit, and the winner there in the end was Cameron Davis of Australia. He came in with a 4-round total of -18. Just one shot back for 4 players. One of them was Davis Thompson of the USA. Best South African in the tournament was tied for 6th. It was a good tournament for Eric van Rooyen. He finished these 4 rounds with a total of -15. That's Eric van Rooyen of South Africa. And to close off today's international sports news, it is rugby news. The Under-20 World Cup taking place in Cape Town, South Africa at the moment. The host South Africa, they played against Fiji. They beat them by 57 points to 7. And some of the other results over the weekend, New Zealand beat Wales by 41 points to 34. Then Ireland too strong for Italy, the score 55 points to 15. And England had a good win against Argentina, the score 40 points to 21. That tournament continues through the week in Cape Town. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
DSTV 285, GoTV 25, 1up2.com, and Network Media Hub on YouTube is precisely where you can find us. From me and the Africa Good Morning team, Sweraja Kanaka.